and how to stop overanalyzing everything, guided by the quiet guide. When your mind refuses to let go. You know that moment when a conversation ends, but your mind keeps analyzing it for the next 3 hours. You replay what you said. You imagine better answers. You start wondering what the other person meant by a look, a pause, a tone in their voice. By the time you go to sleep, the conversation is still happening in your head. And the strange part is, nothing is actually happening in real life. Your body is in bed, but your mind is still in the meeting, still in the text message, still in the moment you wish you had handled differently. If that feels familiar, there is something important you should know. You do not overanalyze because you are weak. You overanalyze because your mind is strong, because you care about doing things well, because you want to avoid mistakes, because you are aware enough to notice the details most people miss. But the same awareness that can guide your life can also trap you inside your thoughts. You start analyzing conversations that are already finished. You start turning small decisions into mental marathons. You feel busy in your mind, but stuck in your life. So in this video, we are going to do something simple. We are going to walk through 5 very common ways the mind overanalyzes everything. And for each one, I will give you one calm protocol you can use immediately. No complicated systems, just practical ways to step out of your head and return to clarity. And one of these protocols, the last one, is surprisingly powerful. Many people discover it solves the problem they thought was permanent. So let us begin with the pattern that traps people most often, the replay loop. When your mind replays conversations, almost everyone who overanalyzes experiences this. You leave a meeting, or you send a message, or you finish a conversation with someone important, and a few minutes later, your mind quietly presses rewind. You replay what you said. You imagine how it sounded. You wonder whether the other person misunderstood something. Then the replay happens again and again. Soon you are mentally editing the scene like a film director. I should have said this instead. I should not have mentioned that. Why did I phrase it that way? Psychologists call this rumination. The brain believes it can protect you from future embarrassment by reviewing past social moments. It is trying to help. Thousands of years ago, belonging to your tribe meant survival. If social mistakes caused rejection, the consequences could be severe. So your brain evolved a system for analyzing interactions. But that system was built for small groups of 30 or 40 people, not for modern environments where you might interact with hundreds of people through meetings, emails, and messages. So the replay loop becomes excessive, and the more you replay something, the more emotional energy it consumes. Protocol 1. The 10-second label rule. Instead of trying to force the thought away, label it. The moment you notice the replay beginning, quietly say to yourself, "This is a replay." Not reality, just a replay. Then give it a short label. Work replay, conversation replay, family replay. This small act does something powerful. Research in cognitive behavioral therapy shows that naming a mental pattern activates the brain's regulatory systems. Instead of being inside the thought, you are observing it. After labeling the replay, shift your attention to one physical sensation, the feeling of your feet on the floor, the warmth of a cup in your hands, the rhythm of your breathing. You are reminding your brain that the event already happened. You are here now. There is an interesting overlap between modern psychology and ancient wisdom here. Psychology tells us that rumination keeps the brain locked in imagined timelines. Spiritual traditions often remind people not to dwell endlessly on yesterday. Different language, same insight. Peace returns when attention comes back to the present moment. When small decisions become mental marathons. Now let us look at another way the mind overanalyzes everything. Decision paralysis. This shows up in everyday moments. You start writing an email and rewrite the same sentence 4 times. You spend 20 minutes deciding how to reply to a message. You analyze different options long after the decision could have been made. The strange thing is that overanalyzing decisions does not necessarily produce better outcomes. In fact, research from decision science shows something surprising. Once choices reach a good enough threshold, additional analysis rarely improves the result. It simply increases stress. One famous example comes from the British cycling team. Years ago, the team was performing poorly compared to other nations. So a new performance director named Dave Brailsford introduced a concept called marginal gains. Instead of obsessing over massive breakthroughs, the team focused on small improvements, tiny decisions made quickly and consistently. They improved sleep environments, bike design, training recovery, and even hand-washing routines. Each improvement was small, but together they transformed performance. The lesson is simple. Progress rarely comes from analyzing every possibility. It comes from consistent action. So here is the second protocol. Protocol 2. The one-option framework. First, reduce the number of choices. Your brain does not need 5 possibilities. Choose 2 reasonable options. Then ask one simple question. Which option respects my energy more today? That question shifts your focus from perfection to sustainability. After that, give yourself 30 seconds to decide. Then commit to something extremely important. No post-game analysis. The decision is made. Your mind will try to reopen the discussion later, but the rule remains the same. Decision made. File closed. As the philosopher Seneca once observed, people often suffer more in imagination than in reality. And overanalyzing decisions is one of the most common ways imagination creates unnecessary stress. When the mind jumps to the worst case. Another pattern appears when uncertainty enters the picture. Someone takes longer than usual to reply to a message. Your mind begins to speculate. Maybe they are upset. Maybe something went wrong. Maybe the relationship has changed. Before long, a small delay has turned into a full disaster scenario. Psychologists call this catastrophising. The brain believes that rehearsing danger will prepare you for it. But in reality, this habit simply amplifies anxiety. Protocol 3. Future now distance. When your mind jumps ahead to disaster, stretch the timeline. Ask yourself 3 questions. Will this matter in 3 weeks? Will it matter in 3 months? Will it matter in 3 years? Most of the time, the answer to the 3-year question is no. That realization immediately reduces emotional intensity. Then take one grounded action in the present moment. Send the email, check the information, schedule the appointment. Action restores stability. There is a quiet principle repeated across many spiritual traditions. Focus on today. Handle what is in front of you. Let tomorrow unfold when it arrives. Psychology and ancient wisdom meet again in the same place. Clarity lives in the present moment. When you start analyzing yourself. Now, we reach one of the quietest forms of overanalyzing. Self-analysis. You start evaluating your personality, your tone, your progress, your achievements compared to others, and sometimes the internal voice becomes harsh. I should be further ahead. I should be better by now. I should have done things differently. Many people do not realize how deeply this voice is learned. It often originates from early expectations, cultural pressures, comparisons that slowly become internal standards. So here is the 4th protocol. Protocol 4. The kind stranger test. Write down the exact sentence you are saying to yourself, not the polite version, the real sentence. Then ask yourself one question. Would I say this to a kind stranger who tried their best? Most of the time, the answer is no. So rewrite the sentence as if you were speaking to that stranger. Psychologist Kristen Neff's research on self-compassion shows that people who treat themselves with understanding are actually more resilient and motivated. Harsh criticism does not strengthen people. Support does. And there is a quiet spiritual echo here too. Many traditions teach compassion toward others. But the deeper question is whether we extend that same compassion inward when your mind refuses to switch off. Now we arrive at the moment many people struggle with most. The evening. You are tired, but your mind will not slow down. You review the day. You anticipate tomorrow. You analyze everything that remains unfinished. This happens because all your energy has stayed in your head. Your body never released the tension. Protocol 5, the 5-minute physical reset. Stand up. Place both feet firmly on the floor. Take a slow exhale lasting 6 to 8 seconds. Then move gently for 5 minutes. Walk slowly. Stretch. Complete a simple household task without your phone. While moving, give your mind one instruction. Right now, my only job is this movement. Research in nervous system regulation shows that physical movement helps release stress hormones that accumulate during mental work. The mind finally receives the signal that it is safe to relax. Sometimes the fastest way to quiet the mind is not through thinking, it is through movement. A quiet plan. For the next time your mind starts overanalyzing, let us bring the 5 protocols together. When your mind replays conversations, label the replay and return to the present. When decisions become mental marathons, shrink the options and decide quickly. When your mind jumps to disaster, stretch the timeline and take one grounded action. When self-criticism appears, use the kind stranger test. When exhaustion sets in, move the body so the mind can rest. You do not need to master all 5 immediately. Choose one. Test it in the next 24 hours. Because the goal is not to stop thinking. The goal is balance. Your mind is powerful, but even powerful minds deserve moments of quiet. If this video found you at a moment when your mind felt busy, you are not alone. Many thoughtful people experience this. The same awareness that helps you grow can sometimes pull you too deeply into analysis. But awareness also gives you something powerful in return. The ability to pause, to breathe, to notice when your mind has started spinning stories, and gently guide it back to the present moment. You do not need to solve every thought tonight. You do not need to analyze every possibility. Sometimes clarity arrives when the mind finally rests. If this reflection helped even slightly, consider sharing it with someone who might also be carrying a heavy mind tonight. And if you enjoy these calm conversations about focus, emotional clarity, and quiet discipline, a like or quiet comment helps this space reach more people who need it. And if you would like more reflections like this in the future, you are always welcome to subscribe. No pressure, just an invitation. This is Quiet Grind Daily, where self-improvers reset, calm mind, consistent action, and I will see you in the next quiet moment.